As the United States ends its 20-year-long war in Afghanistan, the Taliban is celebrating with gunfire as they took over the country. WION got exclusive access inside the Kabul International Airport as it bore a deserted look amid the Taliban's takeover. Take a look.
Deserted hangars, disabled aircraft and Humvees, depleted medical supplies and discarded soda cans. This is the sight at the Hamid Karzai International Airport, hours after America's longest war ended in Afghanistan. WION travelled through the airport, hours after the last US soldier exited the country. The Kabul airport bore a deserted look, abandoned after 20 years of war. Inside the hangars of the airport, supplies were strewn around everywhere, from discarded screws to walkie-talkies. It's a reminder of the American presence and a picture of its hasty withdrawal.
I'm standing outside a hangar that says, "Warning, armed aircraft inside." But what is it in this remaining hangar inside? Let's just have a look. This is a big empty hangar right now. It has some operational things that have been left behind in haste. You'd see cables, you'd see a coffee maker that is there that has been left abandoned, some desks, some walkie-talkie sets, seats as well, plenty of screws and accessories, a medevac stretch bed. Probably you see sleeping bags as well lying there on the floor.
But in the final moments, the US soldiers disabled the jets and choppers. Pentagon claims the war machines have been demilitarized, ensuring the Taliban can't make additions to its war haul.
I'm standing inside one of the military hangars of the Kabul International Airport on the military side, and you see there's plenty of military equipment that has been left behind. You'd see armored vests with magazines, which has bullets as well, bullets like these, magazines like these that have been left behind, stretchers, helmets, armored vests, helmets like these, armored vests, bulletproof vests, even communication equipment that has been left behind for the Afghan Taliban as the US forces withdrew. This hangar also has aircrafts, and these aircrafts have been made dysfunctional. The Afghan Taliban's flight engineer says that they can be repaired, but Afghanistan does not have the capacity, so they would have to be flown out or taken out, or a team of engineers would have to be brought in from abroad so that they can be made functional again.
They need an urgent repair. However, in Afghanistan, it would not be possible. They would need to be sent abroad for repairs.
The US military also left behind around 70 armored vehicles, with each costing up to $1 million. Those, along with 27 Humvees, were also disabled as the Taliban took control of the airport.
These vehicles were used to transport the ammo or supplies for the CRAM. It says CRAM and it says "Don't steal." But if my camera person can follow as well, these vehicles are now empty. You can see they have number plates only, some drips that I can see, and some supplies as well, some eatery supplies rather. You'd see a soda can there as well. This is an indicator. This is an indication that in this empty car is an indication that most of these defensive equipment that was installed to protect the city of Kabul has now been taken away, with the Americans going back.
With Anas Malik in Kabul, Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And Anas Malik is now joining us live on the broadcast with more details. Anas, the American presence on Afghan soil has come to an end, with the US troops finally completing their withdrawal. But there are many Afghans who are still wanting to leave Afghanistan, and a lot of uncertainty lies ahead for them, with the Taliban also saying that Afghans should not be leaving the country, and the evacuation efforts have now come to a halt.
Absolutely. The US's longest war in Afghanistan, 2 decades long war, has come to an end. About 24 hours ago, we saw the last US soldier leaving the Afghan soil. But as you rightly mentioned, there are thousands and thousands of Afghans who have worked with the United States in different capacities as interpreters, as contractors, as logistical suppliers, as drivers, and so on and so forth. And their families continue to remain at risk. The evacuation operations solely for Afghan nationals had come to a halt following the blast on Thursday, on the 26th of August. After that, we saw that only those Afghan nationals who were citizens of another country or a secondary citizen had a secondary citizenship as well were allowed to leave on those evacuation flights. And then after that, after Saturday, on Saturday, in fact, we saw the last British evacuation flight leaving. Following that, the American flight also left, and after that, we saw that only troops were being made to evacuate. So now those Afghans largely remain at risk. Those who have worked in different capacities, their future is increasingly uncertain, though despite the fact that a general amnesty has been announced for those who've worked in different capacities with previous regimes or previous government. But there is uncertainty because as we've been previously reporting as well that there is a foot soldier and leadership disconnect, and the foot soldier does not seem to completely adhere by the principles or guiding principles of what the Afghan Taliban's leadership has said. Therefore, life would be in jeopardy for those Afghans who had been working with these foreign forces in one capacity or the other, and they would continue to remain under that constant fear. Molly?
Right, and you also have been speaking to many of those Afghans on the ground and reporting extensively from the Kabul airport, also speaking about what lies ahead when it comes to the evacuation process and the reactions that you have gathered from the press conference that was held by the Taliban today.
Well, firstly, to the evacuation operations, we're seeing some arrangement being made. Some Afghans are being transported or are being given rather transit visas to Pakistan, and they would be made to fly out through Pakistan, but that is a very insignificant number. The number is somewhere between 2,100 to 4,000 Afghans who can possibly be made to transit to their flight to freedom through Pakistan. On the other hand, we're seeing that possibly the Qatari government, Qatar can play another role in helping evacuate these Afghans at risk, like how it has been helping the American government in the past. In fact, what I can confirm you very credibly, that now there are 2 contenders in the race to run the Kabul airport, first being Turkey, with which the Taliban had been extensively talking as well, and Qatar, the Qatari government, is also now in the race as well. This is what Taliban sources tell me, that Qatar can also be part of the arrangement to run the operations of Kabul airport. So we can see some more evacuation flights or evacuation through these transit flights that could be done through a third country in days to come, but not immediately. To the other part of your question on the reaction with regards to the press conference, where the emphasis was to seek international investments, foreign investments, and by and large to cater to the international audience, that yes, we have changed. Again, it is being taken with a pinch of salt. Actions, words need to transpire into actions, and for them to transpire into actions, 16 days or 17 days is too early to predict. A government needs to be formed at first, and then the Taliban's actions would be judged, based on which international guarantee or international legitimacy could then be talked about. Molly?
All right, thanks very much, Anas, for getting us those details and inputs from Kabul. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.